Alright, good morning everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Now Teslafy. This is full self-driving beta version 10.69.2. It is my first FSD release in about 100 days. I'm sure if you have been keeping up with anything to do with full self-driving and Tesla, you'll have noticed that the rollout period has been extended quite a bit. And it seems to be grouped by the original testers, sometimes called the OG testers, and then that group has been expanded a little bit, and then they test a little bit, they release any changes that may need to be done before they roll out another version of it, and usually with a dot release, so 10.69 was rolled out to them, then .1, then .1.1, and it seems like the first version, .69, was great. They wanted to fix some things. .1 came out, not so great. .1.1 was really good from everything I could tell, and they decided to move forward with .2. Apparently there are some changes in .2 from .1.1. Hopefully they are not regressions, but we'll find out. I've been on .10.12.2 for about those 100 days. It has been fine, but really anxious to see some of the improvements. I'll be going on my test loop. Here is the map of what that looks like. Here in Wenatchee, there's going to be some unprotected left turns, which is one of the things that has been highly addressed, and some other things. But we're going to get going. This morning is not a wonderful day in Wenatchee. It is very, very smoky. It is very, very, well, not very rainy, but it started to rain today. We definitely could use that rain today. So that's why it's a little bit hazy and looks pretty terrible. We're gonna go ahead, put in our route here. Pybus Market is our end goal, which is kind of our public area, and has a turn right at the end that is essentially never made. So let's check it out. So it's supposed to be smoother, much more natural. We've got it already off the bat, a blinker for some strange reason. We are turning right here, which is correct. Should see this new creep fence. There it is. So that's a good guide to let you know how far the car is going to go out. Now, am I comfortable with that line? How far it is right now? Maybe. I guess the line does kind of help with the confidence, but I think we are out there much further than perhaps it needs to be. Okay, so it should go after this car. Good. So again, I think we're a little bit further out there than we needed to be, but the creep fence, as people are referring to it, was a decent addition to let us know how far the car intends to go out, especially in relation to the rest of the street. All right, so first unprotected left up here, should get in this left lane. Good. Kind of a little jerk to the right there, getting into the lane. People cutting this corner quite a bit. It is AM school traffic this morning, so we should see a decent amount of traffic. We're rolling. Okay, so that's a behavior I have seen a few times where the car in front of you is making their left turn and the car does start to roll as its turn is starting to go. It's like this collision course, which, I mean, obviously didn't collide, but okay, so that was actually really good through that yield sign. Little overcorrection here to the right. It should have taken that turn a little bit tighter. Do have law enforcement out probably for the school commute, although with this radar detector could be across the river. Oh, but he's coming, so I'll go ahead and mute that. luckily, we have speed locked down with full self-driving. Alright, he must have been on another road. Oh, there he goes. Alright. So coming down here to a four-way stop, and then we need to be in the left lane to make our merge onto the bridge. So four-way stops for me in 12.2 have been hit or miss. Like, it takes forever for it to decide if it's gonna go. So it's gonna do the creep behavior. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the accelerator because I've got somebody behind me. There's really no reason for it to start to creep once it gets to a four-way stop, right? So, okay, so you need to get into the left lane, let it do its thing. Nope, it's gonna go ahead and try this rightmost lane. So we can turn here, and it has the last couple of videos, but then we'll also need to quickly move over to this left-hand lane, which means getting in front of this car to make it on the bridge, which a speed boost and it does. So we were ahead of that car, which was fine, but you know, that could have been resolved had it made the decision to be in that left lane to begin with. Fine, it worked out, but sometimes, again, with heavy traffic, that can be a pain. And certainly awkward for other drivers. Okay, so we've got to yield here onto the bridge. The traffic circle is clear. So, and this isn't a traffic circle for us. It's like we're yielding for folks in the traffic circle. And we had nobody to yield to. So that was fine. Blinker was unnecessary because we really had nowhere else to go. And I should have been muted by now. I've gone over this bridge so many times. Okay, so far, not a bad start. Definitely is smoother. Again, we still have the creep is not needed on a four-way stop, in my opinion, especially in that way. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Should it creep at a four-way stop, or should it find its line right away and then go for the traffic? Just view the traffic when it's your time to go. I think that they're clear enough, right, that it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, we can make a right turn on red, but it turned green, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Staying in its lane perfectly. Good acceleration. Alright, we're coming up to the Pybus Challenge. If you're new to the channel, the Pybus Challenge is essentially, Pybus Market is a public market that is at the end of a street up here. There is 2 lanes to get to the street straight that it needs to go on in order to make it to Pybus, but it needs to be in the leftmost lane in order to make it to. So some really slow hesitation through that turn for zero reason. I'm going to go ahead and report that. So up there is Pybus. The sign is not lit up for some reason. Also, interestingly, since I've done this drive, there is this weird construction here on the sidewalk. So it needs to jaunt over to the left if it can. And then it needs to just be in that left-hand lane. That is the challenge. That was really close. So is it going to get into the left-hand lane? Because this is a right turn only, which has kind of been the challenge. And it stays in this right-hand lane. And nope, so that is a fail for the Pybus Challenge. We're going to go ahead and mark that as well. Yeah, so that's, you know, it's clearly a right turn only. You need to be in the left-hand lane. You cannot go straight from that that lane, and it failed, unfortunately. All right, well, that is the first leg of our loop. Now it's time for the return trip. I'll go ahead and put that destination in. All right, our destination is set. We're gonna roll through this stop. That's fine, because we were fully stopped there for a few minutes. So, well, not a few minutes, but for a little bit of time, right? But I'm actually really curious. So the Pybus Challenge, you know, that that's to be expected. I don't, that's a weird predictive thing. However, it's showing the turn lane in that right lane, the turn lane only. So I feel like that should be something that should be easily resolved. But also just needs to know that information ahead of time so we can make that decision. Here's our left, coming up on our next unprotected left. Generally, if it doesn't look like we have much traffic this morning, we'll see once we roll up there. Usually it does this pretty good. But traffic can make this left turn really challenging because there is no turn lane or median. And it is clear, we should just be able to go. We don't need to go to the creep line or creep fence. All right, so super easy left turn for FSD. Yeah, as you can see, it's only 7 a.m. here in Wenatchee. All that's smoke. I actually forgot to check the level of smoke on the scale, but this last few days have been in the unhealthy to even hazardous level, unfortunately. And interestingly enough, the air cabin, or the cabin filter, not the biohazard filter, which actually would be nice to have, the cabin filter does an okay job filtering that out, but I can still smell it. Okay, so the bridge has also been another kind of thorn in my side as far as how it handles, how it mitigates some of the main challenge, which is the off-ramp, and we will be coming that up. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll see it just simply has weird behavior as far as lane choice. Excuse me. And this on-ramp to the bridge usually isn't that big of a deal, because we do not even need to merge with traffic onto the bridge. We don't need to stop. So that's the thing that sometimes in the past it has really slowed down before it gets to the bridge, thinking it needs to merge, but it does not need to merge. So we can just keep going in this lane. There's no traffic coming, so it shouldn't have any problem at all. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is the correct lane we need to be in order to take this exit, because it's a weird kind of like second. It's an exit for the innermost circle and then an exit for the outer. We want to be on the outer straight away. Usually it's going to lane change about now. There it is. So no change in behavior for this version on this. And then it's going to lane change right here. Luckily it's not the apex, but that was a solid white line, so it shouldn't be making a lane change here. Really slow through this turn. Now it's wanting to make another lane change to the right, which is not correct, and then making another lane change. All right, so as you can see, like, the lane change game just went completely bonkers on a really tight turn, which is, that turn can also be very very heavy traffic. So I think maybe just because of it's not quite school time yet, and not many people maybe cross the line or cross the cities to go from one place to the next. I don't know. Anyway, so free of traffic, and it went bonkers with the lane decision, which is just ridiculous. I've actually never seen it do that. And it likes to cross this white line as well when making this right turn. Okay, that's fine. Nice thing is that there was a little bit shaky through that right turn, which again doesn't have any need to be. But that even though it was shaky, it was still better than what it has been. All right, so we just now came to a full stop, so we should be able to go after this truck. All right, so that was good four-way stop behavior. And Yeah, it looks like the cops are going through all kinds of patrolling this morning. Put my hands on the wheel. Got it. Just took them off for a second. Okay. We got just a couple of turns left before the end of the loop. I'll be definitely doing a couple more videos in different spots since I've had 100 days on 12.2 to see how it does things. And there are some other things that I'd like to test. I think my guess at this point is my biggest complaint is still just going to be the wonkiness of lane changes and unnecessary lane changes. But could be worse, right? Because it's just awkward. And I think that's going to be kind of the biggest, well, maybe not the biggest challenge, but it's going to be certainly a challenge, an additional challenge for full self-driving. But again, maybe not a base level requirement, because I guess if it gets you to your destination safely and accurately, then a little bit of wonkiness that is, again, as long as the wonkiness is safe. Alright, so that was a nice smooth left turn. Coming up on a right turn here. Also very easy and should just glide through it. Alright, and we're back at very close to the beginning of our loop. We do have should be 25 here, and we've got the sign. So final thoughts. The ride quality definitely has been smoother, but we've got the wonkiness with the lane change, and I really only had one, I believe if I counted everything right, we only had one So if I count it right, I think we only had one intervention. I pressed the pedal at the four-way stop at the beginning instead of waiting for the creep, because we didn't need to do that. I had a disengagement at the end of the Pilot's Challenge, which it hasn't made yet. So there's the one disengagement for that drive. And I think that could have been it. So that very well could have been, had maybe I not pressed the accelerator, and one disengagement drive, which would be, for that particular loop, pretty good. I mean, actually, great. I don't know when it's going to meet the Pilot's Challenge, which is kind of why I've put it in there. As I don't know that when that logic will go in there, but yeah, very much a straightforward. Very much a straightforward drive. That will do it for this episode. Thank you so much for everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next couple of FSD videos. I also have other couple of accessory videos, including one I've been meaning to shoot for this guy. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I never ask you guys to do that, but it would be awesome to get a little bit more engagement on the channel. I love chatting with y'all. And we'll catch you next time at Tesla 5.